I used to be the first one they'd call when something happened. Now, the phone stays quiet all day. Have you ever walked into a familiar room and felt completely invisible? Not a single glance. No one says hello. No one pauses their conversation just because you entered. And the hardest part is, you're no longer surprised by it. Turning 80 doesn't come with a warning bell. It doesn't arrive all at once. It slips quietly into your life, like a favorite cafe closing without notice. A friend who stops calling, a shirt you used to wear that no longer feels right. These aren't dramatic events. They're small disappearances, quiet ones, but they linger. And then you wonder, am I the only one feeling this? Today's video is a real journey. We'll walk through 5 silent but deeply felt truths about life after 80. Things no one warned you about, not written in books, but felt in the eyes, the pauses, the hearts of millions of older adults, maybe you or someone you love. So before we begin, may I ask, where are you watching from? Share your city or country in the comments. I'd really love to know where you are in the world, because right now, we're here together. And if this is your first time visiting Life in Words, where we tell honest, kind, and respectful stories about aging, please hit subscribe and turn on notifications, not just to follow, but to walk alongside. Because you are not alone. Let's begin. The first step is naming the quiet kind of loneliness. Part 1, the empty chair no one talks about. You sit down on the porch chair. The morning sun still feels warm. The breeze is still soft, but the chair next to you, where your friend used to sit every Tuesday morning, has been empty for 3 weeks now. And no one mentions it. After 80, one of the first things that slips away is not your health. It's the people who shaped your rhythm of living. You can't recall exactly when it started. One day the phone rang less, then coffee plans disappeared from your calendar. A longtime friend moved into assisted living, another became too tired to visit, and sometimes someone passed away and there was no one to tell. You're still strong, still independent, still capable of taking care of yourself, but you know deep down you're spending more time in memory than in presence. Those laughs, those dinners, those unspoken understandings, they're precious, but they don't replace the warmth of someone beside you. And this isn't the loneliness people usually talk about. It's not about being surrounded or not. It's the aching quiet that comes when the ones who understood you quietly fade. Sometimes you tell an old story, but no one remembers the name you mention. You smile and fall silent. Maybe that's the heaviest part, feeling like the world you once belonged to is slowly slipping away. Not abruptly, not loudly, just drifting. But in this silence, you've learned something youth never teaches, that life's value isn't in how many people are around you. It's in how deeply you're connected to those who remain. A 5-minute call, a handwritten note, someone who listens without needing much explanation. They can't fill the absence, but they remind you you're still connected. If you felt this kind of quiet, not sadness, but emptiness, type the number 1 in the comments. It might help someone feel lighter today, just knowing they're not the only one. And when you begin to live peacefully with that quiet, life presents a new challenge. This time, it's not in the heart, it's in your body. Let's talk about it next. Part 2, when small things make you stop. You're standing in the kitchen. You reach for the salt jar, something you've done 1,000 times, but today your hand trembles. And instead of grabbing it, you rest your hand on the counter and wait. Just for a moment, but you know, your body is telling you something. After 80, the things that used to be automatic become quiet little tests. No one sees them, no one knows, but you feel each one clearly. A small bruise takes a week to fade. A simple cold won't go away. Missing one meal makes you lightheaded. Nothing dramatic, but you know, Your body no longer recovers in the background. Now, it asks for your full attention. The hardest part isn't the discomfort, it's the silence from others. Doctors say, it's just age. Your family thinks you're just tired, but you know, these small things are no longer small. You, who once held everything together, who cared for everyone, now must learn to care for yourself differently. And sometimes it feels like your body's betraying you. You can't do what you used to, and that stings. But even in that pain, there's a quiet shift. You start to rest before exhaustion hits. You drink more water. You recover slowly, but more fully. You're not giving up. You're adapting. If you've felt these small but persistent changes, the ones that make you pause mid-step, type the number 2 in the comments. That one simple act may be the reason someone else feels seen today. Because strength isn't about doing it all, it's about knowing when to pause and how to protect what matters most. And as you begin to live more gently with your body, another change quietly arrives. This one not inside you, but in how others look at you. Let's continue in the next part. Part 3, when you walk in and no one looks up. You open the meeting room door at church, the place where you used to speak for 20 years. People are chatting, laughing. You walk in, no one looks up. You smile, quietly find a seat. You start to share an old memory, but halfway through, someone interrupts. You stop, look down at your hands, and you don't finish the story. No one meant to ignore you. No one meant to cut you off, but you felt it. You're no longer seen the way you once were. After 80, you don't lose your worth, but you begin to lose visibility. Not because you've changed, but because the world around you no longer knows how to see someone your age. The world values fast, loud, young, and when you slow down, even just a little, it moves on without you. You used to be the one they came to for advice, the name they mentioned when they needed wisdom. Now, you sit quietly while others retell stories that you were actually part of. That feeling, it's not sadness, it's floating. You're there, but no one seems to notice. And so you begin to speak less, not because you've run out of things to say, but because you've learned that sometimes silence is heard more clearly. But here's what you know, silence does not mean absence. You're still here, with a life full of stories. You still have a voice, even if there's no applause. You still matter, not because others say so, but because you know what you've lived through. If you've ever walked into a room and felt like no one saw you, type the number 3 in the comments. It's more than a response. It's a quiet signal: I'm still here. I still deserve to be seen, to be heard, to be remembered. Because your existence doesn't need validation, it carries its own worth, simply because you're still here, every day. And just when you begin to accept that quiet, life reveals something else. This time, not through people, but through the fading of everyday routines. Let's talk about that next. Part 4, when familiar routines begin to disappear. You still wake up at 6 m.m., still open the window, still take a deep breath. But this morning, you didn't go on your walk. Your legs felt a little heavy, and that same old street suddenly felt farther. You look at the breakfast table. Your tea is ready, but the second cup, the one for your friend who visited every Tuesday, hasn't been used in weeks. And then you realize life doesn't change all at once. It quietly shrinks. No more Saturday market trips. The cafe on the corner is closed. The neighbor you chatted with every morning has moved away without saying goodbye. Nothing dramatic, nothing painful, just the gentle vanishing of things you once counted on. You're still living, still functioning, still making meals, still reading, still pacing the garden slowly. But one by one, the pieces that made life feel whole are slipping into silence. It's not that you chose isolation, but the world around you is pulling back, and you can't stop it. And the hardest part, you don't know how to explain it, because on the outside, everything looks fine. Only you can feel something inside has shifted. But even in that shrinking, there's one space that can still grow, your inner world. A phone call, a friend who writes, a video that makes you laugh, a message from someone you haven't heard from in years. You don't need a crowd, you just need a connection that feels real. If you felt your familiar world quietly slip away, not loudly, not painfully, just change. Type the number 4 in the comments. Your voice may remind someone, sitting alone right now, that they are not the only one feeling this way. Because even when the outside world closes in, your heart still holds an open field, ready for love, for memory, for meaning. And then one day, you realize it's not just your surroundings that have changed. Even your own body, the one you trusted most, has started to behave like a stranger. Let's go there next. Part 5, when your own body starts interrupting you. This morning, you woke up feeling good. Your arms moved freely. Your eyes were clear. You thought, today's going to be a good day. You walked out to the garden, watered the plants, picked a few mint leaves, but by midday, something changed. Your steps slowed, your back ached, your hands trembled as you poured tea. You set the cup down, took a quiet breath, and waited. After 80, the hardest part isn't feeling weaker, it's not knowing what your body will do next. Yesterday, you took a full walk around the block. Today, just bending down to tie your shoes left you needing to sit. The tiredness comes unannounced. The dizziness doesn't make an appointment. Your body, the one you've known all your life, starts to feel like a house you don't fully trust. And then, hesitation enters your day. Should I go out today? Can I carry this bag by myself? What if I feel unsteady halfway there? It's not just about strength, it's about dignity. The fear of losing your ability to decide, to move, to act, without permission from your joints or your balance. But just like every other change in aging, you learn to adjust, not out of surrender, but with kind understanding. You stop rushing, you rest when needed, you ask for help without shame, you treat your body as something to care for, not to push. You realize strength isn't about doing it all, it's about knowing how to respond to change with grace. If you've ever felt confused or uncertain about what your body might do next, type the number 5 in the comments. You might be saying out loud what someone else is still too quiet to express. Because aging doesn't take your power away. It just invites you to use it differently, with more patience, more compassion, and a deeper kind of wisdom. And when you've walked through all these quiet changes, the empty chairs, the slower steps, the quieter rooms, you realize something simple but powerful. You're still here. Let's close this journey together. Conclusion, I was never gone. You stayed with me until now. Together, we walked through the parts of aging no one talks about. The silence in your relationships, the hesitation in your body, the feeling of being invisible in rooms that once knew your name, and the world, slowly, quietly, growing smaller. Not everyone will understand this, not because they don't care, but because they haven't lived it yet. But you're living it. You've felt each shift. You've learned the difference between growing old and fading away. Because you haven't faded, you're still here, still waking up every morning, still walking, even if slower, still listening, even if no one's asking. You are not fragile. You are adapting. You are not invisible. You are noticing more. You are not alone. You are part of a quiet generation of strength, showing up every day with grace. If something today touched your heart, please leave a comment, even one word, or type a number. so someone else reading it tonight knows they're not the only one. And if this video brought you peace, clarity, or the simple comfort of feeling understood, please subscribe to Life in Words and turn on notifications. We'll be right here with you in every video, every story, speaking gently, but truthfully. Because aging isn't about disappearing, it's about becoming more clear, more real, more you. Thank you for your time, for your presence, for being who you are. Until next time, take care of your body, hold on to your memories, and honor the beautiful, resilient spirit you carry every single day.